Guess it goes back to trust too, and that idea, like, am I here to live once, or do I take that with me? Is my soul and an infinite being? Is it an energetic
Mm.
continuation?
Reminds me of this movie, Coco. Remember that movie?
Yeah, I love. Well, we watched that movie together. I love.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like the spirit of
right.
the dead is remembered by the living, right?
Yeah.
Right. Our ancestors, um, they feed upon our remembrance of them and our rituals and ceremonies of them.
Yeah.
And so if I wanted to live forever, I'd live forever on in the memories of people
Well, it may
in a
not even
sense.
be in the memories because, well, there's cognitive memory, and then I think there's DNA memory. People always talk about, oh, it runs in the family. Well, DNA changes based on the environment. And what we really inherit is the emotional and mental
Mm.
patterns from our parents and the patterns that we take on. And maybe the patterns we talk about, the black sheep and the disruptors of the more less life giving patterns. And maybe that's the legacy we leave. And sometimes people make the mistake, oh, I'm not going to do what my parents do. And then they do the exact opposite, which isn't helpful either. Um, but again, it goes back to,
Yeah.
for me, how we make people feel. And how do we know how we make people feel? By asking them, being curious and truly open hearted. And I noticed Chris said hi. And if anyone else is tuning in, we often don't see some of the messages for some reason from the multiple spaces. So we're going to look at the comments after we end, but we don't see a lot of them coming in through Restream here except for Chris's. So
Yeah.
we
And if
haven't
you
seen.
are watching live, do comment. Perhaps like we can do a quick test.
Oh, yeah.
Send a
Okay.
message and just let us know where you're sending that message from, either from YouTube or LinkedIn or the Facebook group or Summer's Facebook page, just as a test. What to play with you so we can work out these kinks. Technology sometimes, right? So yeah. And we
Yeah.
love to, yeah, have you join in the conversation. I'm sure you might be sending the comments there, but we can't see it. There you go. Listening from my amazing life partner.
Hi,
Great.
Tracy.
I do see your comment there, Tracy Chris. Just curious, yeah, where are you texting those comments from?
Was from
So that we
some
know.
Facebook
Yeah, but curious whether it's on my Facebook page or your Facebook
or the
page
group.
or the group, right? So yeah, like to do some tests right now. So let's tie it back to this question of like, how am I making you feel, right? And if I start relating to you in that way as like you're a human being versus a robot or a bag of money that I want to take, then in the society of like, hey, still needing to pay the bills, I think it changes the energy where the if there was money still involved, the transaction would be more of like a value exchange. Like I think people will be fine with knowing that, hey, you got value here. You make me feel seen. You know what my problems and challenges are, and you have a solution. I'd be more than happy to pay you for it. Right. And perhaps that goes back to sacred economics, new ways of looking at how we collect payments or how we identify worth and value, like the idea behind equity or a contribution scale that we use that people can choose what number lines up for them because everybody has a different financial point, right, in their life. So, yeah. And,
Yeah.
and where, I'm,
Go ahead. Mhm.
where I'm going with is like taking that relational perspective and paradigm and how do we like collaborate together in that in this system where money is still required.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it goes back to, some insights that I have, and that is, everything has a different value based on the perception of the person purchasing it. Um, for a 16 or 17-year-old, a brand new car probably has a lot of value, but there's no way they can purchase it usually unless they found a really good online source, which is possible these days. But um, it changes based on our country, the currency, um, what stage of life we're in, and I guess. And one of the business courses we took recently, which I really appreciate, um, kind of changed a little bit of that perception a little bit, which is because most people are like in the coaching industry, like, oh, sell your program for 5, 10K, like keep selling it at the highest rate. And then what happens is you kind of end up with a monoculture of the people with the most money. And then you don't get the people who would pay half of that. And so you have less people and less money. Um, I mean, if you have a cap of only having 5 people and you're good with that, then I guess that's okay. But I know in my programs, sometimes we fully scholarship some of the women, and the amount of wisdom that they provide, because they may come from a country like Romania or something like that, and that the shift in perception of the world is so different and so unique that it leaves other people just in this changed way, and in a way that I couldn't provide it. I couldn't have said it in that way. And therefore, although financially there was a zero contribution, the way she
Mm,
spoke, her life experience gave so much awe and insight to everyone else there. It was truly invaluable.
mm,
And so I've had clients who pay a tremendous amount for my services, and then they don't show up. It's annoying.
yeah.
It's like, "Oh, I have this money. I don't know, just, do this and this with it and stay comfortable in my own mental emotional space." And so,
Does
yeah,
be
value,
an energetic drain, doesn't it?
an energetic drain. So I think the idea of value, we're starting to play with that a little bit instead of it just being financial and money and numbers, which are really an abstraction of the energetic value that it represents.
Mm,
Because when I bring in someone who paid nothing but contributes so much mentally, emotionally, spiritually with her, like people are like, wow, she sounds like a prophet. She's just so full of information that is so valuable and is such a different way of thinking, that the other women get way more out of it.
mm.
So my value has just increased exponentially because this woman exists in my sphere.
Yeah, yeah.
When it comes down to, education and spiritual or emotional things, I think that this is a very real reality that's starting to take
Mm,
place.
yeah, yeah. Value can be exchanged in more than just money, right? Can be exchanged in time. Someone can, contribute to doing your bookkeeping or your social media, be part of the team in exchange for being there, right? It could be in showing up and just contributing the wisdom and experience to the group itself. So yeah, it's a paradigm shift to look at how do we exchange with each other. It goes back to that, right?
Yeah, and I mean, when you talk about time and exchanging time for money, people don't want to do that. They were like, how can I make a passive income? How can I strategize so that I have economies of scale? Right? That's what people want to know. I want to get more for less. That's generally how what people are
Well, I
thinking.
mean, I'm willing to exchange my time
Mhm.
to learn from this mentor, to get a back door on how he manages his team, how he creates his system. So definitely I'm willing to exchange my time for educational purposes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from. Ah,
Mm.
Maria, hi.
Yeah, Maria
Thank
Lucent,
you, Chris.
welcome for Peru. Thank you, Chris Tracy. We're clarifying where you're chatting from Summer's Facebook page. So we know your Facebook page is working, babe.
Yay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, Maria was having a comment here.
now let's see what it is.
Yeah, I'm going to pop it up, but it cuts it off, but we can read it out here. I've been thinking about time. I learned that originally time was kept without using minutes or seconds, much more tuned to the action sundial. Wonder what life would feel like without using minutes or seconds. Imagine, here, it's cut off there. Imagine that it would be a life.
Much more attuned to nature and to presence, to compassion and to flow. I feel like this is the truest expression of relationship, one that exists beyond time, yet there are many levels. Yeah. Beyond time, right? It goes back to my idea of, well, do we only live this life, or do we have a soul purpose? And back to that idea of family and my dad. Why was he my dad, and why did I choose him, if that's my belief, which I believe it is? And maybe beyond my personal purpose, maybe there's a familiar one. Um, and I'm curious about, you said sundial. Where was that? Sundial, la, la, la. Action sundial. I'm curious because I know, when I went to a few psychological sessions, they're usually 50 minutes. And it's like, if I'm in mid process and they're like, oh, sorry, time's over, bye, you can leave triggered. And in my process, I leave a time window for clients, a window that is more unconscious with the flow and the degree of resolution that they have within themselves. And so I wonder if that is similar. Um,
Hmm.
and